Hello everybody. Today in Firefall, we're going to be looking at the private test server and checking out the new battle frame, the Arsenal. Now, I'm sure you've seen a lot of PvP videos or PvE videos so far on it, but I don't really care about stuff anyways. Get to tier 4, become overpowered. We get the idea. So we're going to look at PvP and specifically Jetball and see how the Arsenal frame looks, see how it's doing. Because definitely none of these things are set in stone, and they might have to look at some balance changes before they get it out into the actual launch. So right from the start, we notice that it is a Dreadnought frame, probably branching off from the Rhino is my guess, since it's focused on dealing heavy damage. The primary weapon on this frame is the light machine gun that deals 58 damage for primary fire, 87 for a headshot. It's kind of like the Recon's primary weapon, where it'll grab more recoil as you keep going through, so it becomes less accurate. So burst fire is pretty good on it, but chasing with it and spraying like I am right now isn't really the best way to do it. So in personal opinions, compared to the abilities especially, I feel that the primary weapon is a bit underbalanced for being a Dreadnought frame. I mean, it should be focused around the primary weapon as the main source of damage, and the abilities can help in different situations. But in this case, it's very underwhelming. But the alternate fire actually helps a lot. So the alternate fire is basically dead aim shot that you do have to lead, but it has 100% accuracy. Slower rate of fire, like the Mammoth's alt fire, basically. But no drop, just straight shot leading, and it does a bit more damage. So it does 67 damage instead, 101 if you do a headshot. And then from that, they have the assault rifle, 70 damage, pretty standard stuff. And we're going to get on to the abilities. So the first ability for the Arsenal is the combat shotgun. This is how some of the abilities work for the Arsenal, is like some of the HKMs you're used to and other frames like the Biotech and stuff like that. You get a new weapon in your hands temporarily until you get the ammo, or until the ammo is depleted. In this case, you spawn a shotgun out of nowhere that has 10 rounds that deals 50 times a multiplier of up to 7 depending on how close you are to your target. That is a lot of damage, but not unheard of compared to a lot of other shotguns in the game. And the only difference is the fire rate on this shotgun is ridiculous. You could probably clear out all 10 rounds in about 3 seconds. So chasing somebody and being on their tail, you're going to demolish them very quickly if you're good with that kind of stuff. The second ability is the particle beam. Once again, you summon a brand new weapon. This time, it acts like a combination of the Tiger Claw and a Fire Cat primary weapon. It's got that straight shot nuke cannon style that you're used to from the Tiger Claw, but has a ridiculous splash range like the Fire Cats. A direct hit will do up to 700 damage. I know in the video you see me do more, like 750, but I think that's some kind of booster I'm getting from someone else of some sort. But yeah, 700 damage for a direct shot, and then a huge blast radius that usually gets you about 300, 400 damage to everybody. Now, the third ability for the Arsenal is Rocket Jump. This is one of the big, crucial movement abilities that the Arsenal has compared to other Dreadnought classes. The only other movement ability we have is the Rhino's Charge, which gives you a speed buff, or the Mammoth's Teleport Shot. But this is the only movement ability that gets you where you need to go quickly, unlike Charge, which is just a gradual movement speed buff, compared to Teleport Shot, that allows you to have the ball in your hands at the same time. Finally, we'll have more classes that have that up and over technique to get into the goal and being able to push forward. So now, when you have that distraction push, even if they learn to focus the person coming through, he's going to have a lot of health to get down really quickly. So it's a good option and it could be very strong if we don't need the assault as much as we thought. Because if we have enough classes with movement abilities like Recluse, Dragonfly, and the Arsenal, it's very easy to get the ball down, especially with the Arsenal's passive, which we'll get to later. This might actually cause some new meta. That'd be great. Always up for a change. God knows we need it. And finally, we have the Arsenal's ultimate, shoulder rockets. This HKM is pretty ridiculous, but takes a lot of mastering to use. So once activated, you automatically have a bunch of rockets come out of your shoulders and then drop onto where you're pointing at, basically. So the fire rate is against your will, but it's up to you to aim them properly, which takes a lot of practice because there is a lot of leading involved depending on how far away you are. So that's going to take a lot of practice. But if you get really good at it, this ability fires off 7 pairs of rockets. So that's 14 chances to hit somebody with an ability. And each of those rockets do 350 damage. Yeah, this HKM can be pretty devastating if you get good at it. So I'm hoping to see that used really well later on. And then finally we come to the passive of the Arsenal, which is a lot of how Arsenal gets to be as strong as it is. Arsenal's passive is Electromagnetic Pulse. This passive activates on every time you use an ability. You get a nice little speed boost for a couple of seconds. I think it's about 4 or 5. And then you also do a small EMP that does 350 damage, like the Electron's passive. But this one's on command, so you can be even more annoying. Pretty awesome, huh? All in all, the Arsenal has some really good fighting capabilities, as its close range and long range combat is equally balanced. Because if you're up close, you have your LMG, you have your combat shotgun, and you have your electromagnetic pulse, which is going to destroy everything. So your chasing ability is pretty amazing. And then your long range combat is pretty retarded as well. You have your LMG's alternate fire, which is like dead on easy aim and does pretty good damage. The fire rate's not terrible. It's not as bad as the Mammoth alt fire. And so tracking is a lot easier. And then you have your particle beam, which is like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. The damage is way too much, and the AoE is flat out hilarious. Like, as a Tiger Claw player myself, I'm just like, why can't the Tiger Claw have this weapon? And we switch them out, make the Arsenal have to work a bit harder to do that much damage. That's crazy damage. So hopefully that might get balanced out, because Jesus Christ. And then, of course, the shoulder rockets. You're doing a lot of consistent damage, so building up that HKM isn't going to be too hard. And that damage is going to be amazing once you get used to it. Now, for other changes in the private test server, I'm not going to look at them just yet, because I don't know what's going to stay, what's going to go, because I know people saw that the HKMs only gave 25% instead of 50%. I like the change, but I'm not sure if it's the correct answer for the farming problem we have. And hopefully I can get my message out a bit stronger to the devs before they make the change. I'm not going to talk about that yet. I'm going to wait until the patch actually comes and we get all this information, make sure it's not going to go anywhere for a while. And then they can complain. But for right now, this is just a really cool sneak preview of the Arsenal and hopefully of how this new frame is going to come into the game. It's going to be very strong and definitely going to change things around. So looking forward to it. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to click the like, subscribe buttons below for future content on Firefall. And I'll see you next time.